Hello Reborners, my name is Karen and this is Making Dolls with Karen. I have little Jenny on the table. She's a real cute little sculpt. They have an awake and a sleeping version of her. She's a real born, so she doesn't have a sculptor. But I believe she is, let's see if I can call out her brothers and sisters. Emmy, which they have a newborn and Emmy toddler, and Joseph and Darren and Cannon, and then Jenny. They're all one family. They're brothers and sisters. It's hard to believe, but it's true. Anyway, she's got a hair stuck to her head. I had to seal her over and over again because I kept missing spots. I don't know what in the heck's wrong with me to miss so many spots like that. I got my heat gun. I wanted y'all to see it. It's just I took the advice of another artist who was using a heat gun, and she said, I just went on eBay and bought the cheapest one I could find. And I said, well, it works for her. I'm going to get the cheapest one I can find. So I did, and this is it. And I know because I peeked. But I wanted to open it online, but I can't wait because I want to use it today. And I was going to open it when I, do other openings with dolls and things, but this is good enough. And before we get started on Jenny, I'm also wanting to show you the tipped nails I did. I know you saw them wet, but they just did so fantastic, I think. Boy, they put a lot of tape on this. They didn't want it to open up, I guess. It's in a box, and then they, instead of putting it down in a bag, they wrapped the bag around the box and taped it. And I'm using like manicure scissors or something to get it open. It just says heat tool, but it did say it ranged from like, oh, I forgot. I forgot, but the 265 that we need was in the range. I forgot the range of temperatures it would do. But I don't really want to heat set my doll with it. I just only want to dry the paint enough to put another layer on. Which, I do that all the time, but I just end up just leaving it sitting on the table long enough to get dry enough to do it. And I want to be able to not have to come back after it dries. It's just a this is almost exactly like the one she had, and she just held it to the spot she wanted to, not touching the doll, but she held it kind of, and heated the doll up, and the spot got dry. But anyway, I want to show you June's nails. Oh, I'm just astonished that they came out as good as they did. First time I ever tipped a nail. And I don't even know if you can tell they're tipped online or not, but man, I was just so astonished when they came out of the oven, and I go, man, it worked. They didn't run off or fade or anything, but I did mix it kind of thick. That's the secret, I think. I didn't put any paint thinner in it. I only used thinning medium, and I only put like a tiny into it so that it would be thick and I would be able to put it on. Keep 5 to 6 centimeters away from heat tool and item. Well, okay, that's a given, I think. You got to keep far enough away not to melt it. But anyway, I'm going to be using this one, making Jenny. When I'm doing her enhancements and stuff, and I want them to dry quicker, I'm just going to use this. It's a neat little tool, and I don't recommend. They used to sell bigger, hotter models, I guess, that got hotter, that you could actually heat set your doll with. But how do you know if every spot on the doll is heat set enough? Can you even know that? I mean, there, it's plugged in, but it's not turned on. I don't want to turn it on until I'm ready to use it. I'm just going to set it over there. And I've got to change this paper towel or put one over it, because I put together dolls here, and when you lay polyfill up on the table, there's crumbs of it all over the table, and it will stick to your doll as you're painting. It's not something that is terribly, terribly awful. Some people think it is, but usually when you bake, and the paint gets dry, when you get the doll out of the oven, you can just wipe it off with your hands, just brush it right off. But some people just think it's very tragic to get all that lint on their dolls. And whew, I'm out of breath already. I didn't even do any painting today. I did some housework, and I've just sat down to paint, and it's like 6 o'clock, I think. Maybe even 7, I don't know. But anyway, we're going to do Jennie. We're going to try to make her as good as we can. And she's a right cute little doll. And her awake version's very cute, too. She's very cute. And I can't wait to work on her. Oh, and I just can't wait to tip some more nails, too. Wow, I'm just psyched about that now. Because I've been afraid to tip nails. You know how when you first start painting, how you're kind of a little bit scared of the paint. And then when you want to do, I'm trying to pick up these ends of the zip ties that when I clip them off, they fly across the room sometimes. And then when you want to do a new enhancement, well, that too, you're a little bit afraid of that. And, you know, I remember when I just made bald babies and I was scared to pencil any hair on them. I was scared it'd look ugly. And then I got good at that. And then, you know, then I decided to root hair. Every step of the way, we're a little bit scared to do that new thing. And we shouldn't be because, well, we're going to make mistakes anyway. That's just a given. You're just going to. And so you can't be perfect. So we have to try to be able to do it. We will never do it if we don't try. And that's the lesson of the day. If at first you don't succeed, try again. We're going to start with blue like we always do on Jennie. Very cute baby. I don't even know. Ooh, I got my camera propped up on all them jars of paint back there. I hope that I don't knock one down and make the camera fall. It's just sitting on the table propped against some jars. Anyway, I hope I have enough paint in some of these brushes to do her because, you know, I just don't remember hardly to do. There it goes. See, that's what I was talking about. We don't want it falling. It has to be slightly tilted or you can't see what I'm doing. And in order to get it slightly tilted, it has to be up against these other jars, I think. Oh, crap. I was having such good luck with this, and now it seems like I can't even make it stay up. What's wrong with me? Oh, there. Maybe that'll work. I don't know. You might can see the jars over here a little bit. I don't know. But hopefully that's going to hold it. It seems to be holding. Yeah, it's holding. We're going to put it in the corner of her eyes, kind of like that. I know you can't see this way either. I have to turn her toward me to be able to do it. I think an overhead view is probably the best, but my overhead view was weird because I had to put it up on that shelf. I don't have anything that will hold my tablet. I've ordered 3 or 4 different things, and I ended up throwing them away because they were either crappy and wouldn't stay in position, or they weren't big enough to hold my tablet after all. They would only hold a smaller tablet or something. There was something wrong with every single one of them. And so I just threw them out. And so I'm back to propping my tablet up. When I was at my son's up in the attic, he made me a thing that was on the wall that tilted forward just exactly the right amount for me to be able to hold my tablet. And all I had to do was slide my tablet right into it. It was, but he wouldn't take it down and bring it over here. He said it wouldn't work over here because, see, the ceilings are slanted over there because it's an attic. And so it was just the right angle. He said it'll be the wrong angle. And he's right, it would be. Now I'm going to put some on her forehead. I know you probably can't see that in the corner of her eyes. Maybe sometimes I think if I get close enough, maybe you can. But they say if you can see the blue, it's too dark. And I think I'm guilty of you being able to see some of my blue, not all of it. But sometimes I think you can see the blue. And I always kabuki this blue because it's going to be too dark and too harsh if you don't. I kabuki the red too, though. See, now that's just pretty good right there. Now, in order to make sure that your blue isn't too wet to put red on top, I put red on top of this blue. And it's a little harsh. I'm rubbing it. So I can just turn on this thing. Let's see what it does. Nozzle may get hot. Oh, it does get hot. Like I said, not trying to cure it, just trying to make sure, and it's very warm there now. Just trying to make sure it's dry. That's all I'm trying to do. We don't want any wet blending with any other wet because that would be a disaster. Well, not always, but sometimes, because colors can react with each other and they can also neutralize each other. And we saw that on one of the other dolls I made. I accidentally got some yellow on her forehead where I had the blue. It was another doll. I think it was June. I'm not sure. But it neutralized the blue in that area. It just totally took it away. You couldn't even see that it was blue anymore in that area. So I'm putting the yellow where we always put it, down her cheek a little bit, across her nose in the middle, and down her cheek on the other side. She doesn't have an exceptionally fat chin. In fact, she almost has a receding chin. So I'm not going to put any down on her chin. But I just love this yellow. It is such a pretty color. And it does show through to the end. I've looked at dolls that I put the yellow on, and then I've looked at other dolls that I didn't put any yellow on, and I can see that little yellow hue on their face right there close to their eyes. It's just very, very nice. Oh, I'm loving this. That's just getting it dry, so dry. That is great. It's not going to heat set it. You're going to have to still bake them, because it has to maintain a certain heat for a certain amount of minutes to cure. And so I'm just getting it dry so that if I put any other color on top, it's not going to run or react or anything like that. Well, I'm loving that. Let's see. I need to get my red brushes out, but I'm afraid I'm going to make the camera fall again. Maybe I'm just going to reach over and get the brushes I need each time. I want to try to put some. I did dip these brushes, but I don't know how red they are because I just don't know. I ordered some new brushes, and my idea with that is they have a different color handle, but they had the exact same description as these. Simulated camel's hair, crafter's choice, Royal and Langnickel, said all that stuff. So I ordered them, but they're different by color of handle. And I'm hoping they're still the same value of a brush, though, because I ordered like 6 of them. I was going to order 4, and then it said, oh, you're only this many dollars away from free shipping. And you know me, I don't like to pay for shipping. So I ordered 2 more. I said, well, they won't go bad. I'll just keep them. And as a brush, breaks or something, I'll just throw it out and add another brush in its place. And then I'll have plenty of brushes. Yes, brushes is something you're always replacing because no matter, you can use them a long time. You really can. You can use them a long time. I have some brushes that I've been using for about a year. And that's a long time to use the same brush over and over again. But I have a lot of brushes. So if you only have like one set and you're washing them out and changing colors with them and everything, they're going to go faster. Because even though you're being careful and your paint thinner seeps down through this little metal part right here and goes down into this little grip, is just rubbery like, and it'll first start degrading that, and you'll be able to tell that it's kind of coming loose. It'll turn and stuff, and then it'll just break off one day, and then all of a sudden this plasticky handle is coming out of this metal part, or it breaks off, one or the other. And then that's the end of that brush, because if it breaks off, you can't even change the handle. I've taken some of these cheap Walmart brushes like this one that I use for the yellow, And I've changed the handle on some of my better brushes because I like these better. But you don't need to go out and buy brushes just to change the handle. That wouldn't be cost effective, I don't think. I'm going to dab her nose a little. It's a little too bright red for me. And I'm going to try to put a little on her lips. I have to take my glasses off for this because I cannot see very good with them glasses. I really need to get me another pair of glasses. But there's a problem. The eye doctor's in Covington, which is the next city over, and the bus won't go out of Lauderdale County, so I can't go to that eye doctor. And none of the eye doctors here take my insurance, which is Medicare insurance. Most of them don't take it. This is Walmart eye doctor. They take it. And so I'm going to have to arrange a ride. She also has very thin lips, just like June. Now, I'm going to show you this part that I'm talking about. When you look at the doll, you see the lined lip line right there, and then you see this puffy stuff down here at the bottom. Some people color that because they want bigger lips. But I don't think it looks right because it's not actually part of her lips. It's actually just the fat part of her face underneath her lips. And it's perfectly okay to color it if you want to. I just don't do it because I don't like the way it looks. It's like if you had puffy down here underneath your lips and you put lipstick on it. It would just look funny. I know some ladies, I don't know if people still do it. I'm not up on what people do. But people used to. Back in my day, they would go outside their lip line to make their lips look larger, and it just looked awful. And mostly older ladies, back when I was young. I don't know what people do now because I just don't pay that much attention to whether somebody's even got makeup on or not. Now that looks really good. Her lips are colored, and it was easy. And it's the first step of coloring her lips. Now see, before I put her in the oven, I can put the other layer on because I'm fixing to dry this layer. And you can already tell. You can already tell that it's lighter. And she hasn't fully heat set, but her nose is hot and her mouth is hot too. So it's doing something. The paint is drier now, and it's lighter. And there's a little bit on her nose that I didn't color. I'm going to have to go back and color that. I'm going to also color her ears. I'm loving this heat gun. I think I paid $17 for it, and then I saw one identical to it that also said brand new, and it was only like $12. So look around before you buy because you can get them cheaper. This one came from an American company, so I got it pretty quick. Some of them are coming from China, which I don't particularly like to wait that long for my stuff. Stuff coming from China usually takes a long time. These are made in China, but a lot of things are made in China. But they're shipped to an American company, and the American company sells it. So that's what this one was. It came from an American company, but it was still made in China. And I think the other one that was just $12 was made and sold in China. I'm not positive about that. But I'm not getting much color on her with this brush because it's running out. I'm going to need to get another brush and just lay these on the table as I deplete them of their color. These little tiny brushes can't hold much color because they don't have very many bristles, and the bristles aren't very long, and it's just harder to hold the color on in these tinier brushes. Anyway, my thoughts about the new paint brushes was, you know, when I dip my brushes, it really takes 2 or 3 days for them to get good and dry, where you can do a good dry paint. You can do a real sloppy dry paint where it's not even completely dry, it's just really kind of very wet still, and you can manage to get through it. But the thing is it doesn't look as good. And so with the 2 sets of brushes, you'll have one ready to go and you're dipping one at the same time. And by the time you run out of brushes in the first jar, the second jar is going to be dry. Well, I can tell you this thing gets hot quick. Her ear's already hot. Yeah, this one's out of paint too now. Okay, we get another one. Anyway, especially with red. Red is the color I use the most of. Uh-oh, falling again. I just only need the slightest tilt for you to be able to see the table. And when it gets to be too far of a tilt, it's pushing those jars out of the way that's holding it up. Yeah, I sealed Jennie back when I was still at the attic, when I was doing that mass sealing with all those dolls. And when I got her out to work on her, at first I thought, oh, she's good. And then I felt this little place on her face that felt just as smooth as her rim feels, because there's nothing on her rim. And I said, oh no, I'm going to have to seal that. So I just got the sealer and I did it on her face, and I baked her. And when she came back out, I go, I can't believe I didn't go far enough down. Part of that is still not covered. And so, you know, I want to make a good baby. I have a couple of dolls already that have little spots on them where the paint's a little bit lighter because no sealer got there. And I don't want to do that anymore. So I took the time. She's been baked 6 times for sealer already. I said, that's a lot of bakes, and she didn't even get any color on her. Okay, got to get that all the way down into that little hole done. This might seem like it's hard to do, but it's pretty quick, and you can get it, you know, on toward dry, so when you put them in the oven, it won't be so wet, you know. And now, you know, I did it to her yellow, and I did it to her blue, so now I feel comfortable. Not that I felt that uncomfortable to put red on top of them, but I actually feel comfortable to put red on top of them because it's not going to blend and make orange with the yellow or make purple with the blue or anything like that. And this one doesn't have hardly any color in it either. I tell you, I've been using these brushes. My brushes are stuck somewhere. I don't really know where. They're delayed. I think I'm supposed to get them Thursday or Friday. I don't know which one. But it's going to be like 6 packages of them, which is a lot of brushes, I'm telling you. They're just, it looks exactly like that pack I already have that I've been showing y'all over and over again, except the handles are purple. And I'm going, I hope that doesn't make a huge, huge difference. And I didn't even notice it because my eyesight isn't really that good. And I was looking at a tiny picture on my phone. You know, your phone doesn't get a very big picture, even if you're trying to stretch it bigger, and it didn't look purple to me when I first ordered it. But then when I looked at my order, they go, you know, they email you something like an order confirmation or something, and it has your order on it. And you go, I'm going, those handles are purple. They're not yellow. I sure hope they're not bad brushes. I'm hoping they're just as good. Oh, she's nicely blushed. Look at that. I'm liking that blush. She looks real good. She's a pretty, pretty baby. Put a little up here on her forehead like I always do. Yeah, that one's running out too. Thank goodness I don't have to blush very much more. Her face is pretty much done now. I didn't put any purple on her. I could. She has a couple of little spots where you could put purple. I'm kind of shying away from putting so many colors on their face. Not that I don't want to use purple, because I do. It's just I hardly ever see a doll that has enough potential that they really need purple. I mean, I can put some purple. Oops, I just touched that camera. I'm going to make it fall. There's a little bit, she has a tiny bit of a frown over here above her eyes, but it's very, very minute. And so it would only take just a little swipe of purple, and this has no purple. That is totally, totally no color in that. I probably need to dip all of my brushes. I guess it is possible for them to get too dry. I don't know. Just get a bigger brush. Wow, that's a stretch. Yeah, this one has purple, but it makes a fat line. See, I put it on like that. But I'm gonna dab it off now, because we don't want that much on her. We just want a little bit of a shadowy effect, just a tiny little shadowy effect on her. Let me get that purple kabuki. Let's kabuki that a little bit too. Hopefully that you can see, you can't see the purple, I'm sure, but you can see that it looks shadowy there, maybe. Right here and right here. Slightly, slightly shadowy. And now I'm going to give her some veins. We can't forget our veins and our capillaries. I'm veining with aquamarine. And I'm Crimson Lake for the capillaries. Those are my two favorite pencils for, well, I guess capillaries are just tiny, tiny veins. So I'm going to say that's my two favorite pencils for veins. And I'm just going to go very, very lightly. Remember, however hard you press down, that is what determines how dark the vein is going to be. And that is super way too dark. I am going to rub it like no tomorrow to minimize it. We do want to see it, but we want it to look like it's under her skin, not boldly standing up on top. That's still a little dark to me. Give me that red kabuki. Sometimes you just have to really, really work with your veins, because you don't want them to look wrong. Can you? I don't know. I don't like it that dark. It's a little too dark for me, but we're going to go with it. And I'm going to be ever so careful on this vein. Squiggly and light. Smudging them only makes them look better, actually. And even if they go away, well, that's okay too, because every vein you make and every capillary you make is not going to show. But it gives you the feeling. We're looking for a feeling that this is really skin instead of vinyl. We're not looking for absolute perfection. It's almost like trickery, some kind of magic or something you're trying to pull off. That you're going to try to fool other people into believing that you've made, that you have a real baby sitting in front of you instead of a doll. But let's really and truly stay with reality. It is a doll. And we can't achieve every single little real baby thing we want to. We can try and try as we want to, but we're not going to be able to really make it true to life. You might fool somebody for a few minutes. In fact, one time I wanted to get socks. I wanted to get socks that would fit my doll. So I took my doll to Walmart, and she was dressed, and I was holding her like a baby and everything. And the lady actually thought I was holding a baby, but just only for a few minutes, because once she came over there and looked, of course, it's a doll, you know. But we do want our dolls to look good. We want them to look as good as we can make them look. And that means trying our best on every step. And that means getting the capillaries done, getting the veins done, getting the bluing and the yellow. All these colors come together to create an illusion that something else is going on here besides just a bunch of vinyl. That she's really got something going on under her skin there. It's skin, maybe. Maybe it could be, considered that she looks like a baby, maybe. And we're going to fall short in a few areas. We're people, we're human. We just can't be perfect all the time. And my pencil is way too dark because I haven't sharpened it enough. These capillaries are way too fat. But I'm rubbing them and they're getting lighter. And as we put layers on her, they will also get lighter. And as they bake, as you know. I'm going to try one on her eyelid. I just don't really ever do them on the eyelid. I'm going to be super soft at doing it. It's weird looking, but she looks like, I don't know. It almost makes her look like a horror doll. I don't know. Maybe y'all don't think so, but I'm going to hit her with some heat now to try to. That's all I'm doing. I'm not going to get her super hot because she's going to go in the oven and bake. So we don't need to get her super hot. I'm going to put her head to the side over here, and we're going to work on her arms and legs now. Well, I don't have any glasses to push up. I was about to push my glasses up. Okay, on her arms and legs, we're going to give her a few little veins. I'm just going to go very lightly down her leg like this. It looks like that before I rub it. And now I'm going to rub it to make it lighter. And then you shouldn't be able to see it now at all, if you even saw it the first time. It's not about dark. It's not about really seeing a vein popping out on their leg. It's just about that illusion we're looking for. People like to see something that looks like a baby vein, It makes them feel like, oh, my baby has a vein. It's really a baby. Even though they know deep in their heart it's not a baby. And you can put capillaries on the arms and legs too. I would think that mostly on a baby, you'd find capillaries on their hands and feet and stuff, that you wouldn't really find that many on their arms and legs. I wouldn't think. I don't remember seeing a single capillary on my kids, to tell you the truth. But then my kids are 45 and 40, 44 and 40. So I don't remember. Anyway, I want to color her feet a little bit. I love to color the bottom of their feet right here in the what would be the arch. Babies don't really have arch. You see, this one looks like it does. But babies just have real fatty bottoms of their feet. They don't really have an arch. But right here in this part, that would be the arch, is blue. That's where you put the blue. Because we're looking for places where their skin would be thinner. And on the bottom of their foot, there's a little thin spot right in the maybe arch of their foot. The maybe arch, I'm calling it that. And we don't want it real dark. I don't know if you can see that or not. It seems like I can see it on the camera myself, but I don't know what you're seeing. But we don't want it super dark. We just want it there. And we want it to show, but, super dark is not super what we want. And now I'm going to do this one. And I'm going to hit them with the heat gun a little bit so that when I put the red on, it won't wipe all that off. That's one of the problems I've been having, is some of the blue comes off when you put the red on. Or purple, if you're going to put purple. that's hot. Hotter than a hairdryer. I know that much. There's a few flecks on her foot. There we go. Okay, that should be good enough, though. That should have dried it enough that I can actually put some red on her now. All these are red brushes that need to be dipped again. Okay, I'm going to use this big brush because it probably has some red in it. Yes, it does. It has a lot of red in it. Now, when you're doing the bottom of the feet, you want to remember to cover the bottom of the toes. Now, if you're going to do the top of the toes as well, you have to remember to also do the sides and in between the toes, because it's no longer just about the bottom. It's now about the whole entire toe. But sometimes I just do the bottoms, and sometimes I go back and I do the toes as well, because, well, it just works out, you know. And I love the way that looks. I'm going to hit that with the heat gun to see if it softens it up too much. That's another thing you can do with a heat gun. You know, you don't have to wait for it to come out of the oven. It's going to start immediately drying when you hit it with the heat gun. And if it's coming out too light, you can add some more right then. Ooh, it's hot. Not trying to cure it, just trying to dry it. It is a little bit lighter, but I don't know. It's kind of hot. I'm not going to put any more on it till it cools off. Putting paint on hot vinyl will just make it super dry. I mean, really fast. And then it'll be blotchy looking and ugly. You won't like it. Don't put it on your hot dolls. That's why we have to let them cool before we start painting them again. Because that paint is quick to dry, kind of quick to dry anyway. And if it super dries like that, it's just blotchy and ugly. You won't like it. I'm telling you, I'm loving this heat gun. You can't hold it too close. I mean, it gets hot. It does. But it cools really quick. This one's already almost cool. But it really dries that paint and you know, makes it touchable and all that. And probably you could put another color on there. I don't know. I wouldn't try another color, but if you wanted to put a second coat, you could certainly do that, you know. But I want to crease her feet. I love the creased little feet. Where's my pencil sharpener? Here it is. When you get a pencil sharpener, they sell one. It's for eyebrow pencils, but so you can sharpen your Prisma pencils with it. Well, I got that thing and it's totally no good. I recommend one of these that has the big hole and the small hole, because if you sharpen it with the big hole, it doesn't take away so much pencil. It just puts a point on it. And you have to kind of angle it toward the blade slightly, and you'll just get a real sharp point. See, like that. Half a twist and you got a sharp point. So then you can get right down in those little creases and put your little lines in there. Oh, this is going on very dark. Way darker than I want it to be. Where's that brush? Here it is. Maybe this isn't actually the color I wanted to use after all. Maybe it's that other color. Well, I've almost got all of it out now. Where's a toothpick? Crimson Lake is a little too dark for creases. Mark that down. It's bold. What you really want is this other one. What was it called? Was it Tuscan Red? Or was it, it was Henna, I think. I think it's this one. I gotta sharpen it too. Oh, I just broke that point. That's one thing about sharpening the point that sharp. It's easy to break. Yeah, henna's the one you want. This one's a little bit less bold, but it's still red enough to give you some creases that you like. I don't like purple creases anymore. I used to think purple was the right color to use. But I've seen a lot of artists using a reddish color. Not necessarily red, but a reddish color. Kind of like this henna. And it actually does a great job on creases, I think. I like the way that looks on her foot. I'm not doing all these tiny, tiny creases, and I'm not going to do it all over her whole entire foot or her whole entire leg either, because it just looks funny. They start to look like a zebra. They're so striped up. And we need to brush our creases to smooth them out a little bit and make them less look like a pencil. And you don't want to see where the dark start and stop mark is on the pencil anyway. You want it to be very subdued, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Now on the feet, we want to enhance these little things on their toes. This doll is getting very dark marks on her because she is sealed with the Gemini sealer instead of the Pratt. I sealed her with Gemini because she was already sealed with Gemini, and I didn't want to reseal her entire body because it was only her head that needed a little more sealer. So I just went on and sealed her with the Gemini. And it's much rougher, so the pencil writes much, much better on her. As you can see, it's very easy to write on her. Whereas the dolls that I've been using that Pratt sealer on, I almost have to scrub a pencil line onto them. You can get it on there, it'll go, but you won't get creases like that. You won't get dark creases like that. And these creases have a much better chance of surviving too than the creases you make on a doll that has smoother sealer. I'm gonna hit that with the heat gun now. I think one of your biggest problems with the heat gun is going to be making sure you stay far enough away. That is definitely hot. You can feel it. You know when you're drying your hair with the hair dryer and your hands get hot? Well, that's much, much hotter than a hair dryer. Oops, wrong pencil. I can tell right away that's the wrong pencil. Now, where did that toothpick go? Pencil is very tricky. One tricky thing about it is you may or may not be able to get it off. There's almost an unspoken rule. If you want it off, you won't be able to get it off. If you don't want it off, it's probably going to come off. Kind of like that, you know. But the scratchier your doll's texture is, the more the pencil is going to write on their skin. You're going to get lots darker, easier to do, everything. Much harder to remove also, if you're wanting to remove it. So make sure you want it before you put it, because it's very hard to remove sometimes. Now I could get out the paint thinner probably and wash it down, but I take all these other colors off too that I've got on her. So I'm gonna let that one little harsh piece right there go and hope that paint is going to later take it down a notch. We don't really know if it will. These are the trials of our life. can we make our doll look good? It's like, just trying to make it a little less able to rub off, because I'm thinking maybe I don't have to bake her before I put her sealer on, her second seal, and that will save a bake. She's had a lot of bakes already, and I don't want to over bake her, and if I can put her second seal on before I bake her, that would be fantastic, I think, and it would greatly improve her chances of not having too many bakes. I have had some experiences with dolls where they had too many bakes. I melted a doll, but that was my fault because I forgot to turn the temperature down, and I baked her at 350 instead of 265. And that's my fault, you know. But I'm just saying, it is possible to get too many bakes, and we don't want that. We want our dolls to be pretty. We want them to be painted nice. We want them to come out without any flaws. But we're going to have mistakes, and we need to minimize them as much as possible. It's possible I may have to bake her because I forgot to put her colors on her fingers first before I started doing this, and it's liable to just wipe off all of this. You know, put the red, the pink on her fingers like I've been doing. I don't know if I can get to the underside of her fingers to do anything. I'll do this one. Those are just two down there. I can do this one too. It's right here where they're like, where their hands close up right here, that you need to define that because it looks like, I don't know, it just looks plastic. If you put a little line there and make a little crease, it kind of brings out that it's her hand folded up maybe. See, it looks a little more like that instead of just a hunk of plastic together. And I like to do a little bit in the palm of the hand if it's open enough. Just a little, not a whole lot. I don't want to do a whole lot on her because, like I said, creases can be your friend, but they can also be your enemy. It's a delicate process, and you want to make it as smooth and unpencil-like as you can. The only other alternative is to try to paint one on, and oh man, that's like murder. It's like a nightmare. Whew. I can get quite hot quite quick. I'm just trying to make them a little more permanent, so if I paint over the top of them or seal over the top of them, it's not going to come off, I hope. And since I already did the other hand, I'm going to go on and do this hand. Otherwise, I would have put the colors on her fingers first. But I guess I'm going to do that last now. It's just funny how we get out of whack a little bit and just do the wrong stage at the wrong time. And oh well, we'll get through it. That's all I can say. It's funny how their hands are so different. Because that one's open a little bit, it doesn't have the same kind of creases this one has. It's kind of weird, actually. You're trying to crease it up and you don't really know where to crease because it's different from the other hand. Let's see. Ooh, already hot. And her hands will get blasted again when I do her nails. Yeah, her hand's quite hot. And so that'll give it a little more curing. I'm not going to say it doesn't cure at all, because it does, but it's not going to be a full cure or anything that you can count as permanent. Uh, it's going to be more like, I need to heat this some more, you know. Yeah, it looks good when you brush them. I wonder if I'm drying this brush by it being underneath that. I'm going to try to brush a little bit of paint onto her fingers now. I'm just going to do it like this because I've already sort of messed up the chance to do it real delicately, because I put the pencil on first. So here we go. We're just going to brush it on. I'm going to try to brush a little bit onto her nails to give it a first little coat of nail color, so that it won't take so much to color her nails when we get to doing it. That looks pretty good anyway, I think. That looks pretty good. And a little bit on the back of her hand like that. Dab all that a little bit, and let's hit it with the heat gun. Ooh, the gun's hot now too. You can tell it's working because you can actually see that it's gotten lighter. I mean, it's not fully cured, no, but it is drier, because the drier the paint, the lighter it looks. You know that from baking and stuff. When you bake your kits, they get lighter. That doesn't mean if you bake it again, it's going to get lighter a second time. It just means, you know, that extra dry paint is drier than, like, you know, wet paint. I'm just dabbing her a little bit here and there so her hands will have a little bit of pink on them. When they get a lot lighter like that, you know, it's dry. Ooh, hot too. Whew. They get hot. You just beware that these guns get hot. You don't want to get them too close to your doll or leave it on them too long. Just when you start seeing the paint is getting lighter, you know that it's getting dry. And you know that's probably the right time to stop doing it. So I'm going to paint her nails now, and then I think I'm gonna just seal her. I don't see anything else I need to do to her, really, because we've done just about everything, and we're gonna save a whole lot of steps by just sealing her. And if I can dry these nails as well as I dried the rest of her, I shouldn't have any paint runoff or any of those problems I've been having before, where I thought, oh, well, the paint just didn't stay on there. You know, I painted it. See, I sit here and I paint every nail individually like this, and then when they bake, it's like the nail polish is gone, the nail color is gone. So now if it disappears, I'm going to see it disappear. I'm going to dry it with that heat gun first. Wow, that pinky toe is so little. I don't have steady hands, so she may get a messy pinky toe. And so if this paint disappears, it's because it was too translucent or something, and I'll just need to hit it again with some more paint. seeing something happening here. It's starting to look like all the paint is going up toward the bed of the nails. And get real dark there instead of staying on the nail. Maybe the blowing of the heat gun is blowing it down there. I don't know, but I don't like it. Ooh, that's hot. I may come back and hit that again. I don't know if that's dry enough, but she's getting kind of hot. I'm going to put that on this rack over here. See, this is where my camera used to be. Over here on this rack, you're seeing me put this leg on. I had it propped up with some paint jars. And now it's propped up on the table with some paint jars. I know this is a long segment, but if we can get all the enhancements in one segment like this, then when we come back from the bake, it'll be the sealer and everything, and we'll be ready to put our layers on. I'm not going to tip the nails right now because, I don't know, it just seems like it's too early. It might get stained with the layers and not be white anymore. It's not really white. It's more of an ivory color, I think. Off-white, maybe. I don't know. It's not white. And it's not translucent. I thought it was, but it's not. It's very solid. I can tell it's drying some. On that finger for sure it's drying. But she's getting kind of hot. I don't want her to get too hot, so I'm going to give it a rest and come back and blow it again. Oh. I'm hoping that after I put the sealer on, I can even blow her a little bit dry with the heat gun and go on and put her in the oven. I don't know how that's going to work, though. Might try that off camera before we do it on camera. Might come out to be a disaster. Who knows? But, you know, they're just very, very gooey and wet for a while. And I usually leave them overnight or something, or several hours during the day before I put them in the oven to bake again, because they'll stick to the lining of the oven if you don't. Whatever you have lining your oven, if it's towels or whatever, it'll stick to it. And you have to peel them off. It's not fun. But if I can blow them a little bit dry before I put them in there, maybe they won't stick. Ooh, that's hot. Don't want to get her too hot. You know, she's kind of hot. Now this hand, and we'll be done with the nails. This hand's still a slightly warm from where I blew it before. Uh, I'm gonna save my opinion about the heat gun until I've finished this doll. I'm gonna use it throughout the process as a trial. So y'all don't have to buy a heat gun if it turns out to not be worth it. If it's even slightly worth it, I'm gonna keep using it. But you might not form the same opinion I form. You might go, well, that just takes way too long. I could be doing something else around the house or something while it dries on its own, you know, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to reach the same conclusions as me. I just tell you what I'm experiencing, and then you can decide for yourself. I'm experiencing that I love it so far. That's just so far, though. I don't know if I'm going to love it overall. Here's what I think so far. You definitely have to stay back from your piece a bit. But her nails are almost dry. I think if they just sat there for a minute, they would go on and dry. I mean, they're just severely almost dry, just almost there. They might slightly be a little too wet to put sealer on top of her, but they are just so close to being dry. Another 2 or 3 minutes and they probably would be, but it's super boring for y'all, I'm sure. So we're going to end. We're already on an hour for this video, and I'm going to get her blown a little bit more, and then I'm going to put her sealer on and get her in the oven for her 2 bakes. And then when we come back, we'll be ready to actually put layers on her. I don't even know if there's anything else left to do besides the layers. I don't see anything else, but we may decide along the way we want to do something else. I don't know. But for right now, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to ask everybody that's watching to please like, subscribe, and share. And happy reborning to everybody.